Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome, oh my goodness, to episode 2 of Besieged by the Dead. This episode is called Talons and Tongues. And it's going to be so fun to find out why that is. Let's see. A little bit of the usual introduction. My name is Ellis. I use they, them, and he, him pronouns. Today, at the top of the order, unfortunately, Austin will not be joining us for the rest of the season. They had to sort of take some time for themselves and their family life, and that is a-okay. We are very happy that they did that and made that decision to support themselves. That's awesome. Let's see, what else? Should we do player introductions again? Cool. Excellent. All right, then in that case, for introductions, we'll start off with Nikki.
Great. Let me unmute myself. Hey, everybody. I am Nikki. I use she, her pronouns, and I am co-creator here at TTRPG. And I am on this show on Saturdays, and then on Friday nights, you can find me at Weave the Tale. So, I was not supposed to do plugs. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not awake yet. I just said, we'll do intros, but not plugs, which the audience did not hear, but I'm telling on myself. I have ADHD, and I have not had enough caffeine yet. That's my excuse. I'm going to pass it over to Miguel.
Hey everyone, I'm Miguel. My pronouns are he, him. I'll be playing Rogelio Cazador, and I am just excited to be here.
Excellent. Izzy, go for it.
Hello, I'm Izzy. I use she, they pronouns. I was just noticing that my camera is slightly off angle, and so that's where my brain is, which is totally my fault because I'm, streaming from bed, as we all do sometimes. There were other things I was supposed to say I haven't said. Oh, I'm playing Jubilee, the Blade Singer Tiefling, who likes everyone except bad guys.
Nice. Good save. Excellent. And Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare. They, he, she pronouns, as long as you mix them all up, that's fine by me. And I will be playing Lotus, our very lovely cat person. They, she pronouns there. These were not bought because of this character. I'm just like this.
Excellent. Cool. So before we jump into it, we'll get a quick little recap of what happened last episode. We started out with our party of adventurers here being pulled separately, one by one, out of Faerun into the domain of dread known as Falkovnia by the mists of Ravenloft. They appeared individually throughout a district known as the River Ward in the capital city of Lecker. Our ranger, Lotus, appeared in a boathouse with a strange-ish woman who was doing some fishing, as one does, by throwing, wrapped-up bodies into a river to pull up a bunch of hungry undead and then systematically kill them one by one, as one does, And they wound up pulling up sort of more than they could handle, at which point Lotus torched the boathouse, and both escaped. But in that experience, Lotus lost sight of Joanna, the strange woman they had met, and proceeded to wander the city. Elsewhere, our Dampier rogue Rain appeared on a rooftop where she overheard a conversation between a human man named Huanji and a tiefling woman named Worthy about a plot to assassinate someone named General Vladeska. when Rain revealed herself to the two of them, she discovered that Huan Ji, excuse me, much like herself, the mists seemed to have an interest in him. They seemed to swirl around him, and he was unperturbed by this. He also didn't seem particularly surprised that the mists treated Rain the same way, and even mentioned that she must be from Faerun. It was at that time, elsewhere in the city, that our fighter Rogelio stepped from a crowded street in Baldur's Gate into a abandoned market in Lecker, where a man was fleeing some shambling undead. Rogelio was able to dispatch them, but not without taking a good deal of damage. And upon seeing Rogelio's red sash, the man panicked and ran away. In a butcher shop in that same market, Jubilee appeared, previously from, I believe, a bar in Waterdeep, a tavern in Waterdeep, into this abandoned butcher shop where two children, two sisters, a young tiefling girl named Viviana and her younger sister, human sister, Teta, were hiding. It's good that she did, because she was able to burst through the shop's window into the market and dispatch the undead, rising once more behind Rogelio. Elsewhere in the city, our wonderful elven princess, Isadora, stepped from her study into the mists and was pulled, not at first to the city of Lecker, but to a hill somewhere shrouded in fog, and was met by the giant figure of the Sun Man, an ancient, antiquated, long abandoned visage of the Morning Lord Lathander. This Sun Man warned her that the place she was going was extremely dangerous, and with an outstretched hand tried to grab her, but was not fast enough before she fell down through the mists, landing safely in an alleyway in Lecker. And there she chanced upon a horde of undead. Agitating them, she ran through the streets, passing Rain, Huanji, and Worthy, who followed after her, still in pursuit by the large horde of undead, through the city to where Lotus had met up with Rogelio and Jubilee, bringing the horde to them, which turned out not so bad, as Lotus and Jubilee were able to set the horde ablaze, thinning it enough for them to sort of disperse, lose interest. And our session wrapped up on a rooftop in that marketplace, with Lotus and Rain looking out to the south, where hoofbeats and the clanking of armor could be heard, as a patrol of General Vladeska's Talons came galloping in their direction, most likely to investigate the fires popping up throughout the river ward. And that is where we will begin our episode. Lotus, you're standing on this rooftop looking out. You can see a patrol of, it looks like 6 or 7 lightly armored guards, essentially, on horseback, riding towards you, led by a very muscular woman in sleeveless leather armor with long red hair atop a truly massive all black horse. They are heading in your general direction, though from what you can see, they don't seem to be it's not like they're making a beeline for the market below you specifically, so much as they're gauging a way to the best route to send people to investigate both of these fires, as there is still a column of smoke rising from the remains of the boathouse. You're standing on the rooftop with Rain looking at them when you feel a chill pass over you. Much of the fog of earlier has dissipated as the morning has gone on. The sun is starting to rise higher in the sky, but you notice almost as if there were a fire below you generating like smoke, a cloud of mist surges up through the clay roof shingles. And Rain looks to you as if to say something as the mist rises in a column up around them and then pulls down and dissipates with no one left before you. You're alone on this roof in Lecker.
Take a minute. I'm like, I check in with Scarab, my Scarab on my back. You saw them leave too, right?
Oh yes, I saw it. That was wild.
Okay, so that did happen. Do you think these people over here look friendly?
The ones on the horses?
Mm-hmm.
No. Probably. I don't suspect they are. We've traveled many places, you and I, and they remind me a lot of most of the people that I've disliked throughout that time.
How many people do you like, Scary?
Well, you got me there, Lotus. That's fair. My bad. I wouldn't trust them though.
I'll let everyone know. And I will climb back down and inform everyone of both things that are happening.
Excellent. Yeah. The three of you, Rogelio, Isadora, and Jubilee, you have stopped this horde, set it ablaze. You have most recently reunited the man who Rogelio saved with his daughters, Viviana and Teta, though it was certainly a little harrowing, a little strange. And they have taken off. And now Lotus descends and informs you that Rain has been sort of devoured by mist, perhaps returned to Faerun, perhaps taken somewhere else entirely, and that this patrol of Talons is heading in your direction.
Oh no. Well,
Just disappeared. That's not great.
maybe it is.
It is
maybe,
concerning.
maybe she went back where she came from. It's probably fine.
I'd like some of that, please.
Some of what?
She's lucky.
Some of that going back to where we came. I had a date
Oh, that
tonight.
does sound nice.
Honestly,
You had a date? With who?
as an investor.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh,
Daddy always said don't trust the man, and that looks like a huge bunch of the man, so I wonder if we should maybe run?
Rogelio just nods. He's like, "Run it is."
running. I really prefer kind of a quick-paced walk, a jaunt. Besides, we don't know that they're here for being the man, although, yeah, you ask the right person, all men are the men, right? But no, we should perhaps disappear from this particular area and then discuss, can we head back to the cupcake place? Because I really, the sugar clears my mind.
You want to go back towards the way we just came from?
Well, just for the cupcakes.
Well, I think for the immediate future, the cupcake places, and I just look at whatever's left in my bag. This is it.
Oh my God, that's tragic. You hate to see it. Local businesses all the time going under because of folks on horseback.
Big horse. It's a really big horse.
I asked Lotus real quick. What shade of red are we talking?
What shade of red are we talking?
So her hair is, it's kind of just like natural red, lightish. But I will say, also, Lotus, while you're up there trying to catch glimpses of them, like through, house rooftops and houses and such like that, her right arm seems to be covered with some kind of like red tattoo. You couldn't quite make out what it was, and that is a very blood red.
I will relay that as well.
Not bad.
Know anything about the tattoo?
No, just wondering what it looks like. Admirer of body art myself.
Oh, me too. And we definitely don't want to meet this person.
That's what it sounds like.
You all can
I suppose.
hear that clamping of hoofbeats and jangling of armor getting louder and louder, reverberating off the buildings in the city.
They're getting closer.
Okay, so this is going to be a weird one because of how I've never mentioned it before, but I do have a fine familiar ritual. Is it possible I can say that while Lotus and Rain were like spying, I was like, I'm going to just make myself a little owl. Do we feel okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I'm going to do that then. And so you all see Juby, like, while this is happening, she just sits down. It's like, I'll be right there, and does some rune stuff, as you do when you magic.
Mm-hmm.
And then pops back up 10 minutes later with like just a tiny like barn owl. Like, all right, so I understand we don't want to meet these guys. We don't know what they're up to. However, I do have a tiny magical owl. Maybe we can just go a little spying because, it's an owl. Who's going to look at an owl, right? Even though I don't know what time it is. It's always dark here. And the rest of us can sort of be on our way. That way, if we find out they know more things about how we got here or the cupcakes, Owl will let us know. This is Archie, by the way. Archie, say hi.
Can I pet
Hello, Archie.
Isadora asks if she can pet your owl.
Oh, absolutely. Probably. I don't know. I didn't know. Archie, is that okay?
Archie, can I pet you?
Yes.
And she gets scritches and
Fluffs up.
Rogelio designates one of the remaining cupcakes as Archie's and picks a little pinch off and then attempts to feed the owl.
Archie looks at you, does like this, just squints, and then kind of keeping the squint takes a little nibble.
Then it's a
It's
mouse.
All right, and then Indian goes in for more.
There you go.
Yeah, so you want to kind of like post Archie up somewhere here so that you can like survey when they arrive, and then meanwhile y'all want to dip.
Yeah. I think, let's see. It's been a second since I used to, like, I know we have to be within some distance, but we can at least get far enough away and like hide, and then I can use Archie to spy.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll sort of say, we'll preface this. with Lotus, can you give me a survival check?
Absolutely. Okay, that's fine. That's 10.
Got a 10. Yeah, Lotus, you're able to sort of navigate back through some of the paths that you took from the boathouse to an area you think will be relatively like secure, probably like a smaller alley, not a dead end, but an alley that it would be very hard to get like a full contingent of mounted troops through. And then I want all of you to make me a group stealth check. Oh shit!
I rolled a nat 20.
There's always one in a group check.
I rolled a 2
Oh,
plus a 3.
okay.
So, it's we
Level
start to sneak
5.
away, and Julie sneezes. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That was not stealthy. And all of this she says out loud.
Well, bless you.
Thank you.
Cool. Overall, you as a group did very well. And so you kind of head off to this side area as this patrol is moving. Juby, you're able to sort of like see through Archie's eyes, perched up in this market. Can you hear through him? Yeah. Okay. Can't have one at a time.
I'm like frantically looking up the rules because I was not anticipating using this right now.
You're so good. I got it. I'll send you a link to in chat. But yeah, okay. Regardless, we'll say you can see and hear at the same distance from Archie. So from Archie's point of view, perched up on a lip of a roof, looking down. While Lotus confirmed there were like 6 or 7 mounted soldiers, only 3 come into this area, and it's two soldiers dressed kind of. They seem to be dressed in the best approximation of like guard attire, like medium armor, but it seems slapdash. It seems like stuff that they have like pulled together. Like none of this was made all as one suit. And there's no tabard or anything like indicating like, Lecker patrol or anything like that. But on each of them, I'll say through Archie's eyes, make a perception check.
Cool. And I think because Archie's an owl, they get advantage on perception checks.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
roll that twice.
Yeah, keen hearing and sight.
Okay, gonna need that. Let's roll that again.
Yeah, let's.
That's better. Okay, so
Yeah.
12 plus. I have to remember what. Hang on. I have the sheet up. Perception +1, 13.
Nice. So
sorry, I lied. Excuse me.
No worries.
12 + 3, 15.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, through Archie's eyes, looking at these guards, the two of them in the sort of slapdash mail, you see on one of them, there is a big blood red neck tattoo, the details of which look like a falcon diving. And on the other one, they have sort of like shoulder pads for the armor, and then like bracers and gloves, but their like upper arms are exposed. And on one of their arms, you also see like similarly, not the same art necessarily, not like just like a copy and pasted logo, but again, a blood red inked tattoo of a diving falcon. And getting to the third person with them is the long red-haired muscular woman atop the massive horse. From Archie's point of view, I described it briefly last time, but this horse, this war horse, very, very clearly, is roughly like 18 hands high. So in feet, it's 6 feet at its back, like not counting its neck. This horse is massive. And sitting atop it in that, sleeveless leather armor, long red hair, she has like a twist leather like headband. And her entire, God, I just said it like 10 seconds ago. I don't remember if it was left or right. We'll say right and we'll go with it. Her entire right arm, from shoulder to wrist, is this like massive piece of blood red art of a falcon diving like down her arm. And the three of them begin to kind of patrol slowly around this market, sort of looking at things. You see that they stop at the butcher shop, where the glass from the window is like sprayed across the thing, and you have like three like clearly like undead, like died long before this and then were attacked again, burned bodies with kind of like green embers on them from where you saved Rogelio. And from there move on to the street where the horde was stopped with the kind of like almost like impromptu wall of fire that you and Lotus created. They don't get off their horses. They just sort of look as they pass slowly through the area. While you're watching all of this, Rogelio, Dora, and Lotus, roll me perception checks.
Too much mud, can't see shit. I rolled a 7. She's focused on the mud on her shoes instead of paying attention to what's happening.
Luckily, this is a pretty easy one. You're able to hear Rogelio, Lotus. You're able to hear the rest of this patrol heading off towards the direction of the boathouse that Lotus lit on fire. They pass by the alley that you're in, but they are moving quickly. They don't really even bother to look. And I'll say also, Rogelio, with a 19, I'll just also add, like, you're familiar with like fighting in urban environments like this. You've spent a ton of time in Baldur's Gate. Um, as you are listening for this, you're able to sort of, you track where they're coming from. Notice that they don't even stop to check the alley you're all in. Keep going, and as it fades, you're sort of just like tuned into that. And once it's like further away, you kind of for the first time start to realize how incredibly quiet it is.
Don't like that.
It's cities are not this quiet. Not at all. And though you haven't necessarily had like the bird's eye view that we got in the intro, or that Lotus and Rain got, or even Jubilee through Archie's eyes, it's very clear just by the structure and layout of these streets and everything that this is a fairly large city. Mm-hmm. And so as the sun is starting, heading towards its midday zenith, and Jubilee, you're able to watch what these three guards are doing in the marketplace. What would you all like to do?
I think Juby will report on, what else she's seeing. Just kind of almost like a vacant sort of expression while she's, in Archie, but is laying it out. Okay, it's a lot of ink. It does seem to be a little bit of a trend, little threatening, but like, what are you gonna do? That's all I got for you.
Mm-hmm. I could see if they're nice, and I'm fast enough to get away if they aren't.
I mean, we could try talking to them. Most people are very kind to me.
I don't think these are most people. I'm getting a bad vibe from this whole city. It's too quiet around here. Just now realizing I haven't seen a single troubadour, street hawker. No one's hit me up for a copper in like 10 minutes. This isn't a city. Something's not going on. No, something's wrong here. And I don't want to stick around to find out what it is.
Isidore looks around and goes, yeah, and I don't think there's any shopping here.
Maybe if I tell them that I did help kill a lot of those things, they'll think we're cool either way.
You put it that way.
I do like that plan.
And I can run up walls, so I think I'll be okay. And I go out and try to introduce myself.
Excellent. Do you want to approach stealthily so that you can like get within a good range of them, or do you just sort of head out brazenly in that direction?
I think I do just sort of like, hi. It seems less devious that way.
Sure. As you reveal yourself to this group, you're going to the three in the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They like wheel their horses and come up, and they like surround you in like a ring, and the red-haired woman looks down at you from a pretty good height, like essentially like sitting on a chair that's 6 feet above you, and then also her own height. She looks down at you. She says, "Hello, what the hell are you doing here?"
That's a good question. I don't know how I ended up here, but a lot of mist happened. I walked into a boathouse. I helped someone fish. There was a lot of bodies, so I burnt down the boathouse to stop the monsters. And now I'm here. Yeah, you don't see the smoke from
She looks off towards the other column of smoke. You can see that the other two Talons are like, they have much more aggressive just like posture right now, like they are, locked on you. Roll me insight.
Let's see. Whew, that's a good one.
Whew. Yeah, so you notice that this woman atop the large horse, it's not so much that she is kind or more friendly than the other two. She is just completely unintimidated by you in any way, shape, or form, and just has like a very kind of casual bearing. I'll say also with that very high insight, her horse is looking at you. Not like, oh, an animal notices another creature move near it. It is looking directly at you.
I'll use speak with animals then. I just have that.
Oh, right. Oh, no. This changes everything.
You
I
get
didn't
this
think
yourself.
about this.
I'm a swarm keeper. I have speak with animals for free.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does.
I'll just use that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I really did. You cast Speak with Animals. And do you have the rules up for Speak with Animals?
I can pull them up real quick.
I can't, like, the one most obvious thing to think of.
You gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration, which is 10 minutes. It's a verbal and somatic thing.
How does Lotus's magic, like, narratively, like, how does it work?
I think there's always like little specks of like light, like from like little light from like the equivalent of like lightning bug. Oh God, my accent jumped out. Oof. A little bit of like the lights of a lightning bug going around you with like soft twinkling. And then I think if it's a non-aggressive or non-attacking spell, it stays at that like little soft yellow light. But it's like more of a green and frantic if it's meant for violence.
Nice. Yeah, the lights come out from you, sort of drifting around this horse. And the woman atop it sort of like watches them, but she's not, she's almost, you've guided a lot of people through Faerun. You've taken, people all over. And of course, just in general, are very familiar with not only with animals, but how other people handle animals, how a rider will adjust their mount and things like that. The woman atop this horse seems to almost defer to it in what it wants to do in this situation. Like she is very casually like sitting on this horse as these lights kind of drift around it. And the natural magic that you're connected to reaches out to address a primal mind, and it finds something else entirely. The normal connection that you would get when casting this spell with a beast is rejected, and you find that whatever this is that you are reaching out to is not a beast.
I have a little bit of a question now, actually. I say, sort of gesturing or looking up at her.
The as you say you have a question, the other two guards kind of like step in to sort of like, well, step their horses in a little closer to you to sort of give you like the whole like, we ask the questions here, buddy. But she holds up a hand and she kind of smiles curiously down at you. She says, "What is your question?"
I was trying to talk to your horse because it was looking at me, and I couldn't, which I'm curious that it's not normal beast nature, sort of not like how an animal normally is, and I just want to know what its deal is.
Roll another roll an insight check for me.
All right, 14.
The other two guards at this point like draw their weapons, and it's not they draw their weapons when you point out that this horse isn't a beast, and they look to the woman for instruction, and she says, "Perhaps you're right. Perhaps it is not a beast at all. Vandal," and she like places like a hand on the horse's neck. "Vandal is a curious case. Anyone in Lecker could tell you that. Perhaps she is simply shy. Maybe she does not want to talk to a stranger. Perhaps you could give me your name. Tell me more about this fire you lit in the river ward." And she like gestures towards the column of smoke from the boathouse.
Okay, so I'm Lotus Flowers in Bloom. That's my name. I sort of traveling guide normally. And I just happened to show up here because, like I said, some mist sort of happened. I ended up right by the boathouse. And someone was fishing out those creatures and just sort of like getting them in the head. And I didn't I wanted to help, so I accidentally was too good at fishing. Shockingly, I had sort of popped the cat claws for a second as a visual bit. And then there was a lot of them, and fire meets wood. So I stopped that problem. Same with the little pack that was roaming down here a little bit ago.
You ran into a horde of Zorizen, and you were able to survive and turn them back on your own?
I mean, I think Scary would be like, no, by yourself, by yourself.
No, you were alone, don't tell them.
They had help just from the bushes.
She looks over at Jubilee. Oh, so there are more of you. Come here.
Oh, yeah, I have an owl.
Oh.
To like whistle and call Archie from wherever
Archie
was.
Archie like winds down and like takes a route so that like the tip of his wing like flusters this lady's hair.
Yes,
and
Archie.
She's like, ah, and he comes and lands on your shoulder and just like glares at her.
Sorry, I dropped something. I was peeing. Hi, I'm Juby. Nice to meet you. I just, my good friend here, we're very, very close. I just couldn't let them take all the credit for burning things down. Do you know how we got here? Because we are trying to get back. Ugh.
I have no idea how you got here. I have no idea truly who either of you are. And it sounds like your friend here is a guide, so it seems strange that of all people, they would be lost in an abandoned, quarantined ward of the capital.
I do have questions about the abandonment and the quarantine. However, that was a little bit aggressive. I feel like we're just trying to be friends here. They're a great guide. That's how we met initially. We were doing something, then we got lost. My fault, not theirs. You seem upset. Are you upset?
No, I am simply expected to keep an eye on strangers in our city. We don't get many travelers here in Blackout.
Because of the quarantine or the deadness.
Mostly the deadness, yes.
Sure. Real problem there. And we'd love to help you out with it, but first I do want to leave.
Um, she says, unfortunately, I cannot let you leave without first speaking with General Vladeska. So if you would like, we can give you a ride back to the central ward and you may speak with her there.
Is she like cool?
She looks at you like she genuinely, earnestly does not know what that means. Perhaps you will have to speak with her and find out for yourself. You, Juby, you hear something kind of off from like the direction of the butcher shop. Like you're all kind of like around that area, and it sounds like almost like a voice whispering out to you, and through the distance, through the air, you hear a very familiar young voice say, don't go with them. You won't like what you find.
So I think walking up to this, Juby has been like a forced casual appearance. Like she obviously recognizes these people on horses are not a threat, and so is prepared to handle that if needed. But as part of that appearance, is like, this is fun. Whatever, we're all just out here making friends. The second she hears this voice, it like all pretense is dropped, and she, like looks around, and then looks back at Lotus like, did you hear just now? Were you? There was like a. We shouldn't go with them. Did you?
Lotus, you did not hear anything.
No, Scary didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. It wasn't me. I don't even know how I would speak to her, to be quite frank.
Okay, right. Of course, yeah. That was one of classic Juby jokes. You don't know me that well because we just reunited. Sure, it was good. Never mind. Excuse me. Sorry.
As you are having this conversation, the other two guards have now positioned their horses behind you.
That's not good.
And they are starting to sort of like slowly walk you towards the woman. And as you begin sort of trying to saying these things about this voice, the woman's demeanor changes a bit to something a bit more serious. She says, the day is getting long and we have a siege to prepare for, so unfortunately I must drop the pretenses, as interesting as the two of you are, and I must insist that you come with us to the command center and speak with General Vladeska. If you resist, the consequences will be Dio.
Oh, you're kidnapping us.
Oh, you're kidnapping us. And as Lotus says that, we will cut to Rogelio and Isadora. What are you two up to?
I'd assume Rogelio this whole time is just sort of like at the edge of the alley, kind of like trying to watch this whole situation go down, and then would just turn to Isadora. It's like, well, Princess, it looks like your new friends are in a spot of trouble.
Yeah, can we hear them talking?
Yeah, from I'll say if you've kind of crept up around to the corner, looking into this marketplace, yeah, you'll have heard this.
And how many of the soldiers are there?
There are 3 total mounted soldiers, and you know that 3 more have ridden a little bit further south to the boathouse.
Okay, there's only 3 of them right now.
Right now, correct.
Okay.
I'm still bleeding.
So Isadora will turn to Rogelio and say, well, if we go over and help them, there's more of us than there are of them. They look very scary, but I also don't want them taking our new friends away, especially since I believe one of them has saved your life.
That is true.
Do I need to go in and, do the whole, how dare you talk to my staff this way routine? Or do we want to go with, this is my escort, I'm a princess routine, like we have done before with our other friends? Like, I'm not sure what would be best here, what would work with them.
I like that second one. That sounds good.
Yeah, I feel that Juby and Lotus would probably like that one better as well. I found that when I do the how dare you speak to my staff this way, that people don't tend to like that one as much. But being the escort and guard of a princess is a little friendlier, so we can do that one. Okay. And she casts prestidigitation again to really primp and perfect her hair and make sure she looks the part and that her shoes are no longer muddy, and then doing her best confident walk as a person who has grown up with a lot of privilege could do, marches up to these people and says, excuse me, these people are here to escort me and I need them back, so you cannot have them.
Roll a performance check for me.
Oh boy.
Woof.
I should have probably rolled before doing it, so it actually came out more like, excuse me, but these people are here to protect me and you cannot have them.
One of the horse's tails as you walk by.
Oh no.
And the woman, she looks at you very bewildered. Dora, make me a perception check.
Ooh, 21.
There we go. You notice that these people, one, I should say they're 3 humans, but they are all caked in dirt. And looking across the 3 of them, the large black horse in front of you could rival literally any horse in your father's stables, quite easily. The other 2, you can see their ribs, and the people on top of them, the two other guards, they both have some manner of like egregious scars somewhere visible on them. And you got over 20, right? You got a 21?
21, yeah.
With a 21, I'll also say that the woman, in almost in juxtaposition, though she is equally like kind of caked in dirt, you actually don't see a single scar anywhere on her body. And with your 7 performance, they turn on you and they are unimpressed with your sort of presentation, but they are certainly surprised and almost taken aback by how incredibly pristine you are with your use of prestidigitation. And they see sort of on your probably like in your tiara, as well as like in
My Bible.
like yeah, in like lace and on your book and all of this, all this different like iconography of the sun. And the woman says, "You are some kind of what, pilgrims from somewhere? I have never seen a person like you before."
I mean, I've been told that a lot. But we are pilgrims. Yes, that's what we are. We are pilgrims on behalf of Lathander. They are escorting me through this great land to spread the word of Lathander.
Who is Lathander?
Oh, let me show you. And then she opens her tome, which glows a little bit as she casts light on it. And it glows a little bit. And then inside is like, you know, like a boy band posters style portrait painted of Lathander holding a baby.
Hell yeah. The woman with that, for that, I'll say roll me a second performance check with advantage.
Okay. Oh no. Izzy, try turning it off and back on again.
Little bit of camera trouble. Okay.
I'll roll this. You said performance twice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That one.
All right.
You sure I can't roll persuasion? Okay, 13 the second time.
Cool. There you go. Looks like you're back, Izzy. Yay. The woman kind of like brings her horse up beside you and holds a hand down to you. And she says, "My name is Captain Marguerite of the Talons. I am one of General Vladeska's confidants. I would like to bring you to her so that she may speak with you about this Lathander."
Is she a follower of Lathander?
She follows no one, and we follow her. But I think that
Yikes.
this Lathander may be of some use to us here in Falkovnia.
Right. Can I have a moment to speak with my protectors here?
Yes, but a short moment.
Of course,
And
yes, no problem at all.
she gives you
And
just like the tiniest bit of space.
I gather everyone close, and I'm like, okay, so, do we go and then try to escape later? Do we escape now? I don't know how long I can keep up this whole "we're pilgrims" thing. I hate lying. It doesn't feel good to lie.
I could shoot her with an arrow and have a bunch of books carry her away a little bit. That would be a good distraction.
If we could just if we have time to stall just a little bit, I do need to check that butcher shop really quickly. I forgot my hair tie. So if we could make that happen, I'm
Hair
just gonna
tie.
pop my head in there real quick.
Okay,
That would be great.
I could try. Rogelia, what do you think?
I think, Rule 13, you never go with a stranger to a second location,
Yeah.
especially if it's
true,
possibly
kids.
somewhere where these people are going to have numbers on us. There's already another 3 of them lurking around here somewhere. I'm not anxious to find out how many more of them there are. Hair ties seem inconsequential. I think I have some twine in my pack.
No,
that
hair
might-
ties are very important.
Thank you, Princess. That's
Well, I
very
defer
important.
to you, Isadora, on that matter. But I do not think we should be going anywhere with this tall drink of horse. Um,
Did you
Horse.
notice that the other horses are not doing well? Do you see
I don't
Did
think
you
much
see
of
how
anything else
skinny
is doing
they
well
are?
around here.
What if, okay, look at the other two. You see how dirty they are and all the scars? And I mean, she's quite dirty as well, but there's no scars. I'm wondering, you know how like we've talked about, like, look at the leader and then look at their men, and if the leader is doing much better than the men, we could turn the men?
A lesson I learned many times during the Winter of Blades, of course, Princess.
I do have good berries still.
Yeah, so why don't we try turning the men?
Oh,
our side.
that's one of my
thought.
favorite tasks. Let me tell you. Yeah. Let's turn some men. Let's check a butcher shop.
I could offer them the rest of these cupcakes. Give ourselves a little time.
As much as I would
Head
love
back.
to eat those cupcakes myself, I think it's a good idea.
I can put the good berries on them so it also gives them food for the entire day. Combine the foods.
Brilliant.
Right. Okay. Should I do the talking?
Can I polish these cupcakes up at all now that I am proficient with cooking utensils? That make them any more appealing? Because I know they're a little smashed and smeared, and
Between
maybe
your cooking skills and my prestidigitation, maybe?
add
Yeah.
like the good berries like strategically on there, and like the little-
I think I think the two of you are well enough suited to this task. You don't need to roll for it. That's fine.
Wonderful.
it's scrambled. And I say to the other 3, it's like, you 3 just head to the butcher shop, act casual, normal, like it's, oh hey, cool, and I'll handle those other 2. I walk up to one of the
Hold
the
on.
minor guards.
Do they look injured currently, or they just have scars?
I do.
No, they are not currently injured at all. They're it's mostly like old scars, but it's a lot of them, and many of them are like noticeably like pretty severe.
Got it. Okay. And then, so I'm going to cast light on my tiara to give myself a little more, strategic lighting to look
Elegance.
extra pretty. And I will walk up with Rogelio and let Rogelio do the talking. But first I will tell the lady, these 2 are going to go over there real quick into that shop because Jubilee forgot something. But they'll be right back, and we'll stay with you so you know that they're coming back.
Excellent.
It's collateral.
Excellent. These seem like all right, Talons. I suppose, if you leave 2 with us, I will simply send 1 with them. And she
One what?
snaps, and one of the guards swings down off of his horse and walks over to Lotus and Jubilee on their way to the butcher
Isadora
shop.
looks at Jubilee and goes, Like, lips turn the man.
Yeah,
Mouths
no,
turn the man.
Juby gives like a very not conspicuous wink. She's like, sounds good. But really, as soon as Isadora has said this, she's like on her way to that butcher shop. Just, I don't think she says anything necessarily, but she has again dropped this like everything's cool, this is fine sort of vibe, and it's just beelines there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. So as you like beeline towards this this shop, it's not far. It's maybe like 20 feet from where you were. You as you enter, the Talon with you sort of just steps to the right beside the door, kind of folds his arms behind him and stands and just watches you. It doesn't seem like anything has really changed, but depending on what you want to do here, you can roll me investigation or perception or anything like that. What's Jubilee looking for?
She's looking for the source of that voice.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some part of her is like, this is maybe fake, but I have to try.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's perception or investigation.
Roll investigation.
Yes. 12 on the die plus 5, 17.
Nice. And just to confirm, Lotus, are you with her?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Lotus, you can roll an investigation as well.
Okay.
Just as it's kind of clear as Jubilee starts looking around. Okay, cool. Nothing much has changed. It looks pretty much exactly like you left it. You can see yours, Viviana's, and Tetta's kind of like footprints through the like dust and debris through here and all of that.
Cupcake wrappers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And a minute goes by, 2 minutes. You're not noticing anything out of place. And eventually the Talon at the door just kind of like,
Yeah, we're coming. And then we'll turn back to the room just like, Poetry, are you here? I know I got whisked away too. If you're here, just come out. It's okay. It's me. It's Juby. I assume there's like not a response.
there's quiet, and from immediately behind you, you feel it on your ear like a breath. You hear, I don't know where I am. I don't know where you are. And there's no one behind you.
Yeah, so she turns around, like just immediately sees nothing, and that. Okay, just turn the guy, and then we can find. Okay, Poe, it's all right. I'm coming. I'm gonna find you. Just stay wherever you are. Stay there. Stay safe. Stay hidden. Remember what I said about don't talk to strangers unless they have cupcakes. But you check those cupcakes first. I'm coming. Okay, I'm gonna find you. She's saying all of this out loud, probably. It just doesn't there's nothing else there. And then turns back to the guard guy. And yeah, kids, right? Hey, so hi, how are you? My name's Juby. Nice to meet you. She's very anxious. This is not her normal we're just having fun here. This is just shy of panic.
He looks at you, having just watched you in the middle of an extremely tense situation, negotiate time to go to a random abandoned building and sort of just yell for someone who isn't there from his perspective. And he's just like, yes, I'm great, thank you.
Can I interest you in a snack?
Roll persuasion.
18.
Oh, he doesn't say anything, but he looks amenable to it. Certainly doesn't turn you down.
We should, like, whip out this newly improved cupcake. I've had like 3 of these today. Gotta say, they're really taking the edge off the stress of finding yourself in a place where you don't really know how you got here and your sister's crying for help. It's fine. So listen, this is my friend Lotus. We just wanted to like come out here, find my hair tie, make sure everything's okay with you. How are you? You seem, I mean, I don't want to come across as aggressive. It's just things here seem tense. How are you doing with all of this? How you doing?
When you like reach into your bag and quickly like whip out this cupcake, he like flinches and then sort of like relaxes a bit as you talk, and he takes it and kind of peels it around, looks at it, and it's a good bearing. Takes a bite of the sweet cupcake.
Oh my God, you okay?
It's so sweet.
Yeah, it's a dessert. You don't. And GB like looks at Lotus like, hey, do you never you?
Good berries,
It's a dessert
just like that. Yeah, and you'll be fed for like a whole day.
Right, you're fed for the day, but the cupcake though.
Yeah, the berry made me feel. Why do I feel different after eating that berry? What was that?
That's a full meal.
Congratulations.
Well, I can't say that I feel necessarily bad. No, this though, I don't know about the two. I don't want to waste anything. And he like eats it, and it just looks like torturous. Like he just hates the whole experience.
Well, I hate him, so.
He says, "You asked if I'm okay." No, I mean, I don't. What does it matter?
You're a person. You feel things.
Sure. You are very strange.
Oh, we're just asking how you feel, honey. You don't have to answer. Look, just listen. You're allowed to have feelings. Like my friend Lotus just said, you can have those. That's okay. And additionally, if there's anything that we can do to make you feel not bad, let us know. Do you know hugs? How about a hug? You like a hug?
I'm aware of hugs. I do not want a hug. I do not want to hug you. We just met.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
You don't even know my name.
Do you want to? Oh my God, what's your name?
Berchtold.
Oh, I knew a Berchtold once. Very kind, very kind. Here, you want to pet my owl? It's like a hug, but with, you initiate.
You offer Archie out for a hug, and Archie looks at you.
Sorry, I know. I'm sorry. Got a turn.
Berchtold kind of scritches his neck a little bit, and Archie does like the arch, like neck, like up into it kind of motion to, you're like, oh yeah, I like this, but the whole time he's looking at you like,
It's all right. I'll get you another cupcake. It's fine.
And Berchtold says, we should get back to Captain Marguerite. Come, and he like gestures for you to exit.
Wait.
What?
What if we didn't?
Excuse me?
I mean, I no offense, but I tend to notice these things, but animals didn't look like they were doing well, and if the people aren't even doing well and the animals aren't doing well, that seems like maybe an issue in a breakdown in leadership.
You see it all the time. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Roll. Ooh. Uh-oh, Spadudios. Roll a persuasion with disadvantage.
Can I help? I don't know how helping works in 5e.
I will say not for this one.
Okay.
Not in. Normally you can, but not in this. Holy. Oh wait, yeah. Okay, yeah, but we'll see. Holy shit! Wow. Okay. Wow, you got. It was about to get. It's about to get very, very, very bad for all of you. Birch told scowls at you with now like less like, oh, you're strange and strangers, and I don't know, and more like outright like anger and dislike when you mention that it must be sort of a the cause of leadership, and he scowls at you, but as he does, he sort of just cleans a little bit of icing off the corner of his lip. He says, "Go now," and gestures out to the um, marketplace where everyone else is.
Sure. Just something to keep in mind. I want you to know if you're ever feeling not good or more bad, you can talk to us. Mostly Lotus. They're much better with that whole like feelings and whatnot. But I love a hug. Once we're there, we're there.
You let me know when you're there, and we'll come to you.
And when you want another good berry, tomorrow I should be able to give you one.
He does seem a little interested in that. You all return to the rest of the group. Are we at a good place for a break, Nikki? Cool. Then we will take how long of a break? 10? Cool. We will take 10 minutes and we will get back to y'all. Yeah. Hi, welcome back. When last we left off our adventurers, we were exploring an empty butcher shop for Jubilee's sister, but found no one. Got to meet Birchtold and introduce him to cupcakes, which he hated, but he did like the good berry. Did make him feel good. And now Lotus, Jubilee, and Birchtold are walking back to the marketplace where Captain Marguerite and her other Talon are now joined in a loud clopping of hoofbeats on cobblestone by the three other mounted Talons who went off to the boathouse. They one of them sort of like rides up beside Marguerite. She has like a diving falcon from like the just above her temple down like to her jaw along her face. And she looks like she's about to speak, notices the four of you, and then kind of whispers something to Marguerite. Rogelio and Isadora, will you give me perception checks? Nice. An 18. Yeah, you are both able to hear this woman kind of lean in to Marguerite and say, we didn't see any sign of her. It's likely that she's moved on to a different location again. There was some evidence that there might be more deserters hiding in the area. But as for Joanna, no, she's most likely moved again. And Marguerite nods, and she rides over, walks her horse Vandal kind of over to Isadora and offers you her hand, this time much more kind of sternly, and says, all right, your friend has returned from the butcher shop, so now we will go and meet his general.
I kind of position myself in between, like that hand. I'm not a fan of that hand. Rogelio just gets in between. He's like, I don't think we're going anywhere, friend. However, if you lot are looking for deserters, I happen to know one of the finest in Waterdeep, or in Baldur's Gate, specializing in cupcakes. Perhaps I can show off some of their wares, see if it's something that would be of interest to you, and immediately just start handing out cupcakes to whoever's there. Fully aware that deserters and deserters are not like
at this point, none of them take cupcakes from you, and they sort of all turn their horses so that now they are like a V around you, kind of like closing in, and
like they're the Mighty Ducks and we're the puck.
Yeah, quack, 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 quack. Marguerite looks past you, Rogelio, to Isadora. I believe the arrangement was that your friends would get their chance to explore the butcher shop, and then we would all ride peacefully to the command center to meet with General Vladeska.
Peacefully implies consent, and this consent was coerced, and I don't enjoy lying, but we're not going with you. Sorry.
I just pull
everyone roll initiative.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Is the perfect. Whoo! Okay, so I got lost in it. Okay, so Isadora is 20. I'm just gonna call out for them. Jubilee, what initiative did you get?
16.
16. Lotus?
19.
19. Okay, and Rogelio?
23.
23. Cool. I already got. I grabbed Isadora's. Cool. Okay, so let's move that into this. So we have.
Which
Cool,
for
so
the
at the
audience was a 20. So we rolled very
Yes.
well as a team.
Very, very high. I need to do some quick setup rolls, but Rogelio, you are at the top of the initiative order. You have 6 mounted, armed combatants in a single kind of row, with Captain Marguerite and Vandal essentially right next to you, in melee range, with Isadora behind you. What would you like to do?
Yeah, 100% keep Isadora behind me. And I'm going to say something like, just stay close, and whatever happens, stay close. And I think I'm going to, I guess I'm going to have to go for Captain Marguerite, is it? Shame this had to go down this way. I say, and she's so high up on his horse.
High up on this horse.
I guess I'll make just an attack with my rapier and follow up with my my offhand as well.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and roll those for me.
First one is gonna be a 24 to hit.
Ooh, yeah, that hits.
Okay. In that case, I would like to expend a superiority die and make this a distracting strike. So I get 10. I'm gonna I'll do all my things. Roll damage is 5, but then I get to add a superiority die's worth of damage as well.
Okay.
And that'll be an additional 7. And then I guess as a distraction, as I just kind of go with the sword, I'll just make a big wink at her and say something. Maybe if this goes down differently, I can look you up after this. And now the next person who attacks them that isn't me before the end of my next turn gets advantage.
The next person to attack Captain Marguerite.
And then I'll use my other rapier now as well. That one is not so good. That's a 7.
Oof, yeah, that's definitely a miss.
That's all I got.
All right, excellent. Isadora, what would you like to do? You're standing right behind Rogelio as he slashes Captain Marguerite to sort of hold her attention.
I will say to the rest of the men that are with Marguerite, or I say the men, but I mean the group, because I know some of them are not men, and say, well, I don't think she's treating you as well as she should. And then I'm going to cast a guiding bolt. Do I get advantage because of what Rogelio just did? Is that it? Okay. So I'm going to do that. That's a 21 to hit on one of them. Let me see if I roll a nat 20. Wait, that's
a 7.
That was 7. Okay. So, 21 to hit. Is that hit? Okay. So, that at first level is 4d6 of radiant damage, which is a 12. And now she is glowing bright and shining, kind of like my tiara. But because I don't like her, I'm going to make it like a puke green color. But everyone else can see her very well. And now they all have advantage.
Nice. Okay, just passing the buck. Cool.
Passing the savings along.
Yep.
Passing the savings on to you. And now it's Vandal's turn. And
Horse?
Not a beast. Vandal, you slash out. Vandal rears up. Isadora holds out a hand to cast Guiding Bolt, which strikes Marguerite, and Vandal brings both hooves down to make. Oh, okay. Actually, I guess it's okay. So she'll bring her hooves down to make one attack against Rogelio. For a critical hit. So Vandal crits with her hooves attack on Rogelio. I'm gonna do it this way. It's weird that D&D Beyond doesn't like always recognize what a crit is, or at least it said it was a roll of a 20. Okay, yeah, okay. So that's going to be 2d8 plus 4. Which one's the d8? There it is.
Which one is it?
Which one?
Stop. He's already dead.
Stop. 6 plus 4 comes down with these massive. I mean, you're familiar with the war horses. They are living weapons. These massive hooves come down, kind of slash out at you for 10 damage.
Okay, I would like to. I didn't think I'd be doing this. I'm going to expend another superiority die. To use my parry, and I get to reduce damage by 1 die plus 3.
Okay.
That will be 11 total.
Whoo! I have no idea how you parry a horse, but we'll say you sort of step aside.
I tap it with like the flat of my blade, just like as a taunt almost, just like on the hoof. I guess like tink, like right on the horseshoe.
This horse is fighting you. It is not following commands from its rider. It is attacking you with its own will. And for its second attack, it makes a bite attack on you. Does a 15 hit?
Just so, as they say.
Well, I'm not going to retcon this one, but I'm going to say it so that next time when it comes up, we know. I used the wrong damage dice for hooves. That should have been 4d6. So the bite attack is 1d8.
A lot of hooves.
It's not a ton. For 5 damage.
Yep, that'll do it.
When this horse's mouth opens, its teeth are not flat.
Oh, heck no.
And there is drool around its mouth that looks kind of reddish before it bites you, and then much more so afterwards.
That tracks.
And now it is Lotus's turn. Lotus, you are. Oh, that's a good point. So there are 5 mounted Talons, and then Birchtold is still on foot. He is standing kind of like behind you, about 10 feet behind you, with Jubilee to your left. And then you have this kind of wall of 5 mounted soldiers, with Rogelio engaging Vandal and Captain Marguerite.
I look at say his name one more time. How do you say it again?
Birchtold.
Birchtold.
And I'll put the spelling in chat too.
I look at Birchtold and I'm just sort of gesture to your friends are attacking my friends, so I'm going to have to help save them. And I draw my bow.
Okay.
I'm aiming for Vandal.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
That horse could fight. Do I have advantage?
No.
The advantage would be on Marguerite.
Yeah. The advantage would be the advantage from guiding light would be on Captain Marguerite, not on Vandal.
Marguerite. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that is fine. Let me also do all the other fun stuff I'm planning. Love to be a ranger. So favorite foe.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite foe on the horse. Let me see. Bonus actions. I also could cast Searing Smite. So I'm also getting that cast and ready. And then I will try to hit my longbow. I swear this roll is bad. Thankfully, it's not.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so this is a bunch of fun damage dice to roll. Okay, that's just for the bow itself. Searing Smite does that.
Yeah.
All right, what is favorite foe? I can increase the damage by a D4 for favorite foe. So let me add that D4. That's fine. And I have one more. The swarm, of course.
Hold on. Before you, because I don't know how much of this is like resources that you are like going to expend. Tell me how with Searing Smite you fuck this horse's shit straight up to 0 HP.
Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where I've probably been a hunter in my life as well. You don't do a lot of wandering without a decent amount of hunting. And yeah, I think it is just very quick. Mm-hmm. I don't know the nature of this thing, so absolutely just try to make it quick and painless. One and done.
Yeah, so Searing Smite adds fire damage as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this arrow fires off from your bow, and almost like the friction as it moves through the air seems to like light this arrow on fire, like mid-air, and pierces Vandal in the heart. He rears up, makes a horribly humanoid scream, and then falls over. I'm going to have Captain Marguerite roll a dexterity save. She does not make it. So real quick, falling damage is a D10, I believe. Roll this. You see Vandal rear up, fall, and basically falls and pins Captain Marguerite under its immense weight. She is prone and incapacitated. No, whatever the one means that you can't like move, you can't use your speed, and takes some damage. And now it is. Do you have any bonus actions or anything else you want to do?
Just to showcase my swarm bugs, I'm going to use Gathered Swarm and just have just the move 5 feet horizontally, just a little bit closer to the battlefield, which is horrifying to see.
They're moving you closer to the battlefield, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, I'm gonna have them moving 5 feet horizontally closer to the battlefield.
So
and they are all like locusts and things like that.
Yeah, this immense kind of buzzing, and kind of picks you up, and you hover forward in this swarm. And now it is Jubilee's turn. Cool. Jubilee, you were just next to Lotus and they made that shot, move 5 feet forward. You have Birchtold behind you, and then you have everyone else in front of you.
And everyone else is the 5.
Mm-hmm. That was counting Captain Marguerite. So there's
she's
4 mounted dudes, and then Captain Marguerite pinned under.
pinned under the horse.
Yeah.
And these other mounted dudes, do they look the same way that the other guards did? Like possibly we could turn them. Okay.
I will say, because this isn't necessarily an idea that I put forward, and I don't want to leave it necessarily in your head. They don't look necessarily like, oh, you could turn them. They're
gonna be turnable, right?
Yeah, they look
they're gonna
covered in dirt
smoosh.
and scars and on unfed horses, essentially.
Okay. Where's Rogelio?
Rogelio is right next to the downed horse within 5 feet of Captain Marguerite.
Okay. So Jubilee will step forward, mechanically using her Blade Singer, second round of Blade Singer for the day, as she does, and put herself, let's see, like right up next to Rogelio, so that she can kind of capture as many of these people as she can in Shatter. She's like, hi, it's me again. I'm just going to step in here really quickly. You're doing great. And let's see, well, yeah. What she should have done is use Mage Armor or Shield or literally anything, but it's fine. Damage first, protection later. So yes, gonna roll a Shatter.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do that now. Here I go. Oh, you make a
roll?
con save.
Okay.
Yes, my
Con save? No worries.
We'll go.
I can't see it. It went behind the big thing. 14.
Ooh, 14 is gonna do it. So that's half damage.
Okay.
Half of 7, 3, 4.
3, yeah. Good question. I'm going to say we're going to go with rounded up just because it's easier for me to remember. That'll help you right now, but it will also be applied to everything. So 4.
And are any of these people wearing metal?
They are all wearing metal.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so you have a disadvantage if you just want to roll again. Sorry, I probably should have led
Oh,
with that.
okay, cool. Check. Yeah, they got a nat 20. So
okay, that'll do it.
Let's go
All right,
with the
so
first one.
4 is good. 4 is good.
Yeah, so you kind of enter the fray. You cast Shatter, this loud sonic boom, almost like through all of them. All the horses, panic and kind of like some of them rear up, some of them pull away. All the men like cover their ears, but it rattles through all of the metal and everything. So the way that I'm doing combat for the show, for the most part, I have made a bunch of what are called squads. They're essentially just swarms for various NPCs with specific rules, because especially with like the undead and stuff, it's gonna be, like 60 undead, and no one wants to roll through all of that. So mechanically, they are a single kind of like swarm block, and that damage goes through them. And now, do you have any bonus actions or anything else?
Let's see. That was movement, action. No bonus action. So, all good. That's my turn. I would like to say that while she's riding this high of Blade Singerness and will eventually get to turn on that mage armor, she is going to try and draw as much attention from,
Rogelio?
No, draw attention from Rogelio to herself from the others. Just sort of make herself like, hi, listen, we tried to make this quick. My friend here, it's very old. Please leave him alone. Thank you so much.
Roll an intimidation check for me.
Okay. Okay, that's 16.
Yeah. They, I will say that with a 16, most of their attention is on you. Oh, but I am actually going to create a separate block for Birchtold. And we'll say, oops, get it just real quick. Stats, quantity 1, and we'll say cool. And we'll put his initiative at that. Cool. So most of them are drawn to you with that 16. I will say, however, not all of them, because Lotus just took out their captain essentially in like one shot, and this bizarre non-horse. So they are going to make. So the way squads work, it's sort of like approximated with stats and numbers and stuff, even though we've said that there are four of them plus Birchtold, they make 3 spear attacks, and it's sort of just meant to be like, oh, in the fray, one is guaranteed to miss or whatever. So one of those attacks is going to go towards Lotus. 2 of those attacks are going to go towards Jubilee. So first one towards Lotus is a 13. Does that hit?
No.
One of the guards kind of like rides up to you, takes a kind of like jab, I guess, with their spear. And the swarm actually kind of like almost like seems to grab it, like wraps around it enough to sort of like redirect it away from you. And he, continues forward with his horse's charge. All right. One against Jubilee. That's an 8, so that misses. You cast Shatter. As soon as you cast it, the other rider, one of the riders comes in and takes a jab at you, but you're able to duck under it. But shortly after, almost like in a practiced motion, as soon as you have time to dodge one, the other rider directly behind them is like already making another attack at you. You're so lucky. 7. So that doesn't hit. And sort of just in the blade song, just sort of like moving through the rhythm, you're just ducking, stepping, turning, and none of these attacks are able to hit. But you sort of you don't come out of the blade song, but sort of like a pause in that flow. You look up, and charging you with his spear is Birchtold. So let's see if you can do it a third time. Wow. Whoo. Okay. Yeah, that's an 8. So very nice.
I thought we were friends.
I hated that weird sweet thing you made me eat.
I said you didn't have to. Oh my God, every time.
And now it is Captain Marguerite, pinned and trapped under her horse. She is going to make a strength check to try to get out from under Vandal. And she gets a 20. Yeah, so she pulls herself out from under Vandal and stands up. She looks towards Lotus first, but a trained fighter, and so swivels her attention to Rogelio, who is closest, and she also brings that anger that she feels for Lotus having taken down her horse. And Rogelio, you notice she has a very interesting stance. Roll a perception check for me.
I can do that. That one. Okay.
A nat one.
Ooh, no, I said that one.
Oh.
But it was a 6. So
yeah, you notice something is kind of off. It doesn't seem like inexperience, like it's an intentional stance, but it's an odd one and not one you're necessarily familiar with. And she advances very slowly around Vandal, and then she is going to make 2 longsword attacks on you. And she sort of squares up with you like eye to eye. She's been kind of like moving in kind of a weird sort of balance, and then centers herself and holds her longsword with both hands to make a versatile attack with you. Wow. Okay. Yep. Okay. So that's an 11. The first one, kind of a testing swing to get a feel for how you fight, and the next one is a crit. There we go. Finally. So with a crit, that is 2d10 plus 1. Boop boop to everyone. There we go. And that is 15 damage.
Yeah, I'm down.
As soon as quicker even than you expected, almost using, you've been in a lot of scrapes kind of centered on like bravado, but she essentially doesn't call your bluff. She doesn't doubt for a second that you're a very experienced fighter. And so she comes in with that testing swing, and rather than using it to sort of like get an idea for who you are, she uses it as a distraction, changes the weight, and then brings the slash down quicker than you would have expected. And you are downed.
And maybe healed before this. Out. As I go down, I just sort of spit blood at her. You should have taken the cupcake.
Okay, interesting. In sort of the throe of battle, all of you are from your various perspectives. You are able to see on the corner of the battlefield a man with shaved sides of his head, long ponytail, black earring, robes reinforced with leather, with kind of like a staff, possibly a spear. We, the audience, would recognize this as Huan Ji. Sort of skirting the battlefield, trying to get around towards kind of like towards the back, where he can get behind Marguerite. And then I will make one more check. While I'm doing this, we'll jump to Rogelio's turn. Go ahead and roll me that death save.
Got it. Here, I'll just roll 20. That's what it is. 14.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's one save. And luckily, now it is Isadora's turn, who is standing right behind you. Isadora, how do you feel as you see your lifelong protector taken down with a single swing of Captain Marguerite's sword?
Well, that has never happened before, where she's still standing and Rogelio is on the ground. And she is like, and then is guiding light still happening?
I don't know. Do you have
Or guiding bolt? I mean, no one else has tried to hit her with advantage, right?
Oh, yeah. No one has.
I'm trying to decide if I attack her or if I do cure wounds on him, but then she could hit him again and he's just going to go right back down. I'm going to attack her. I'm going to do... Can I do this at a higher level? Ooh, yes, I can. I'm going to do... How far away is she from me?
She is at most like 10 feet.
Okay.
Because it would have been you, Rogelio, and then her like right there. So
got it. I'm going to cast Scorching Ray then.
Ooh, okay.
Which, reminder, it's a plus 4 to hit because these are based off of my wisdom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do 1. That's not it. And 2. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
With advantage, I only roll a 9.
Yay.
So I don't hit her.
I'm
too distressed to hit her, I guess.
You fire off these rays of fire. It looks almost like these rays of sunlight coming out from your hand, and then the sunlight seems to catch fire and streak out towards Marguerite. And
in Dora's defense, she's never fought anybody ever, other than Rogelio in practice. So,
Marguerite, she like, it's all reflexes. She's able to dodge them, but you see in her eyes, she looks freaked out that you just did that.
Oh. Well, also, the guiding bolt's still there because I didn't hit her. So the rest of you have advantage still if somebody tries to hit her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. The 2 rolls were your advantage.
Yes,
right.
But
okay,
if I don't
cool.
hit her, she still has guiding bolt on her, and so the other people still have advantage until somebody hits her.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Yeah, so Marguerite is kind of glowing with this kind of pallorous green light still. I'm going to roll something real quick. Okay. Wouldn't you know it? The body of Vandal doesn't do anything at all. It still sits there just like a body would. No worries. And now it's Lotus's turn.
I have a fun question about that buddy, actually. Hold on. A thing I thought about / looked at and forgot to ask is about making a Constitution save to see if the spell persists on Vandal. Does it persist?
Which spell?
The fire from the Searing Smite. It says on a failed con because it takes the damage, and then it has to do a con save to see if it takes more the start of each of its turns until the spell ends.
Oh, interesting.
So,
I'll say I'll say if you want, you can treat it as a concentration spell. So it can count as concentration, and then if you get hit, you'll have to roll a Constitution save to keep concentration, or if you cast another concentration spell, that'll replace it. So if you want to do it like that, we can, because I think normally the assumption is that it would go out once the target is dead.
Okay. Then I will let the spell. I don't think I can target someone. Oh no, I can target someone else with it. Never mind. Haha, hit a creature. Okay, I'm fine then. So surprise, surprise. I am going to use my other favorite enemy on Marguerite.
Okay.
And just I know we're doing. Am I in good range to hit her into the longbow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Beautiful. And I see from the chat that it's only one hit. So dice don't fail me now, and they never do.
Whew.
So yeah, that's a 22 to hit. I suppose it does.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeedy.
All right, let's get some fun damage going then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting one.
Walk me through these. So it's the damage from the bow, the damage from
bow
smite.
and the searing smite. The D2 is for the D2 was for the favored foe, and then my swarm. That's the other one. That's the one I didn't get to do against Vandal. On each of my turns, I can use to assist me in one of the following ways. The attack target takes 1d6 piercing from the swarm.
Hey.
So, there we go. That's that's fine. If those rolls were good, though, it would have been a problem.
Yeah, I think kind of the combination of the fire and the swarm isn't really able to get into where she is as well. But she is looking roll bad. Excuse me. And now it is Jubilee's turn.
Let's see, looking real bad.
You do have Birchtold like within melee range of you on foot.
Right. That is true. Great. But I'm still within melee range of Marguerite as well, right?
No, I don't think you moved into range with her.
Okay.
Did you attack her last turn?
I attacked everyone last turn, but
Right,
did place myself next to Rogelio.
Oh, you did? Okay, I think I may have missed that part. Then yeah, we'll say you are within melee range of Marguerite with Birchtold right on you.
Okay, let's see. So in that case, she looks real bad. I'm gonna just try and smoosh her a little bit. Let's just do a regular fun attack with my little stabby guy.
Okay.
My little stabby, where are you, little stabby? Short sword, that's what they're called. Okay, so this rules have changed, I know, since the last time I played a Blade Singer, so let me know if I'm doing something wrong, but I have 2 weapon fighting, I have 2 short swords. Can I... Oh, actually, how close are the other people to her? Are they within 5 feet?
The other enemies?
Yes.
No, not
Okay,
at all.
so that doesn't matter then. Okay, so let's just do a regular stab times 2. Unless I want to do a scorching ray. Okay, yeah, no, let's do a scorching ray. Let's do a scorching ray at her.
Okay.
So I'm in within range to hit her, but also not. Well, scorching ray. Oh, come on, rolls, you are killing me. Yeah, I don't have advantage on her anymore, so that's not gonna work. All right, so that is my turn. I'm also going to again just try and draw her attention towards me while I still have Blade Song on. And say, I feel like we've discussed this, and I asked you not to do this. My friend is very old, and now he's unconscious, so that's on you. I'm gonna have to kill. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Roll intimidation.
Oh, fine. Okay, great. Cool. So I guess that's intimidating, but I can't get it in. Oh, knocked over my mic out of rage.
Chaos! She was able to see how like deftly you sort of dodged like all of those attacks made on you, and definitely can tell that you are like, if not You are like of a par on threats with Lotus, but you're at least closer, and she shifts her attention to you.
I'll get a hit in one day.
Okay, the guards. So the Talons have been kind of like circling around, like their horses coming in for charges of their spears. They are going to. They have like a pretty strong like tactical advantage because they are constantly moving. So one of them is going to attack Isadora. +3, so 22
That
to
hits.
hit. And if patrol, oh no, okay. Can't tell what that is. There's like all these little elements. 7 damage.
Okay.
The like a single like slash is cut across your back, Isadora, as one of the Talons kind of like rides past you. Another is going to attack Lotus, and that's a 6 to hit, so probably not. And the third will also attack Lotus, and that's a 10 to hit. So again, like the swarm sort of like redirects attacks. They like some of them like fly off like into the face of these guards' horses, and they have to kind of like redirect and aren't able to get in a hit on you. Birchtold is going to attack Jubilee for 21.
I believe that with Blade Song 16. 21. Shield.
Nice.
Hell
yeah.
Although I have 2 reactions and one of them deals damage. So you know what? Let's do this. I have not been hit yet. What's the worst that could happen? So
Okay.
He can hit. I'm going to roll Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. I need to roll a different die for him. This goes to everyone. Okay. So he does +1, so 4 damage.
Okay. I shall in turn do a quick, not Burning Hands, that's the wrong one. Oops. Hellish Rebuke is what I wanted. So he hits her and she like whirls around. It's like we had a whole moment. I told you you didn't have to eat the cupcake. You ate the cupcake. That's on you. And he can will like push her hands out and make this giant cone of fire. He should make a dex save.
He should. Let's see if he does. Yeah, he got a 6.
Oof. Okay. Let's see what we got. 3d10. That's a 5, a 5, 7. 17 points of fire damage. Is like, I literally just told you we were cool, and now you're not being cool.
So, tell me how you do this. How you torch this man?
Yeah. Okay. So she's focused on Marguerite and just being like, "Look, we can talk about this. We don't need to go." Oh my God, Birchtold.
Mommy's working right now.
Yeah, and almost like almost like a flippant sort of like just sweeps out a hand, and as he hits her, and this like jet of fire, in like a mint, like a teal sort of blue, just hits him square in the chest, sends him flying back. She's like, "I am sorry, but like we were having a conversation."
So Birchtold is gone, and now it is Marguerite's turn. And she is moving up on you, Jubilee. Let's see. She makes 2 longsword attacks.
Does she
Oof.
ever?
Another 21.
No, as we've established, 21
Right,
hits, and I
right.
no longer have a reaction. Good thing that guy is dead.
It looks like 5 damage
Okay.
from her first attack. And that's 11. So the second one definitely misses. She's able to get a small cut on you and sort of like press the advance, but not much. Now I am going to roll this real quick. Where is it? There it is. I guess this can go to everyone. It's not super important. Okay. What is your? So it's +2. So it's. Huan Ji has positioned himself behind Marguerite fairly easily as she's been distracted. And he comes in with 2 sort of with the spear that he had. He sort of does like a twist, turns it into 2 short swords, and then comes in with a slash. But in the last moment, because he rolled low on his stealth, she is able to notice it and turn to face him. So he does not get advantage on his attack. And he gets 22 to hit. Oof, but it's okay. He comes in, she turns. She is able to sort of like scoop one of his short swords out of his hand, and with the blade sort of like along the line of his forearm, so it's hard to see. He brings it up under with the same motion and slashes her across the chest, and she stumbles back. She falls prone essentially over like Vandal, and she is pretty much out of the fight. Looks like one more hit will do it. And now, Rogelio, go ahead and roll me that death save.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh boy, that is a 7. It's not good.
Oof. Okay, so
1
that's
and
1 and
1.
1. Yep. All right, Isadora, you've just been slashed across the back by one of the kind of like circling talons. You see Jubilee like eviscerate a man and then have to confront Marguerite. And then sort of in a moment that's almost hard to catch, Huan Ji is there attacking her, and now Marguerite is looks still like breathing, but is prone across Vandal.
Isadora is going to run up. Can I get within touching distance of Rogelio without being in striking distance of the others?
Yeah, totally.
She's going to do that, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
Nice.
No, wait, I need to save that for Prayer of Healing. I'm going to do it at 1st level.
You have a little healing as a treat. You.
So that is 5. I feel like it should be a plus something, plus your spell casting ability. Okay, right, because it doesn't know that it's actually +2, so it's 7 total of healing.
Cool. Rogelio, you when was the last time in your line of work you almost died?
So there was this time with these lizards, right?
Go for it. Yeah.
It was during the Winter of Blades. Rogelio was still a young man about town, if you will. He was assigned to perform a hit on a very high value target. The job required precision and secrecy, and he worked with a contractor, someone come into the organization from outside, not familiar with, named Shava. Their plan was to infiltrate the safe house where they knew their target would be, hide under the floorboards for 3 days until the person thought they were safe, and then strike. During those 3 days, Rogelio caught what he thought was some sort of fever, flu. The lack of food and water didn't help either. But he went in these sort of like feverish nightmares, and he thought Shava. He swore that at night, because she would just sleep during the day, just dead asleep. Like he would sometimes think maybe she was dead, but just conserving her energy for to keep watch at night. But as soon as the sun set, he would hallucinate through his fevered state that her body would just turn into a swarm of tiny lizards and then begin devouring his flesh, sucking on his blood. And this went on for 3 days until he woke up sometime later in his own bed at night, her over him saying, "Hey, great job. We did it. We took him out, but we almost lost you there. I think that fever really did a number on you, but you did great in there." That was the closest to death he thinks he's ever been.
So you, Marguerite slashes you, you fall down, and you are once again lying under those floorboards, hearing the creaking of the wood as people walk above you, and you feel the sort of fevered perception of all of these bites on you again. And you take a breath, and then this obviously wasn't how you remembered it, but one of the floorboards is peeled away, and Shava's there, and she offers you a hand. You take it, and she pulls you up out of the floorboard. And as she's looking at you, she says, "Not yet." And then her face, not in a horrific way, but just like turning the lights up, just becomes this glow as all of your eyesight is sort of filled with this bright sunlight. And as your eyes adjust to it, you see Isadora there helping you up.
Yay.
Not allowed to die. You're here to protect me, remember? Not the other way around.
Oh, I just kind of coughed blood a little. I was just resting my eyes. I'm good.
Cool. So we will move on to another turn that I know that I guess I don't get to roll for because someone's maintaining their fire, and we will skip ahead to Lotus's turn. Lotus, what are you doing?
I'm going to just shoot another shot at Marguerite, right? She's still standing. Yep.
Well, she is, excuse me, she's prone. She is like essentially out of the fight. It looks like one more hit will take her out. You do still have four mounted dudes like circling you.
True. But taking out the leader is a strong move symbolically.
You absolutely can coup de grace Marguerite if you want to right now. I want to make sure you know the situation.
I think I'll keep Marguerite metaphorically standing. And I will just shoot at one of the other ones who isn't our Birch Toll.
Cool.
So let me get firing.
Okay, yeah, it.
The dice want me to hurt today.
Yeah, damn.
And then for the swarm attacking whoever I shot. Not great numbers, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. The physical bolt hits a dude on a horse. It is followed up almost like a tracer on a bullet by this flame. Hits him again, and then he looks like he's barely like holding on to the reins of his horse. The swarm just sort of overtakes him and pulls him off of his horse, and he is out of the fight. And then at this point, the other three, they sort of like group up and ride south back in the direction that they came from at full speed. We will drop out of initiative, and in the sort of center of this abandoned marketplace, the cobblestones, is Vandal's body, sort of like smoking a small fire. Marguerite laid out on him, just with no energy, like to really move. Huanji is standing there looking at her. Isadora has just helped Rogelio up. And sort of throughout all of the chaos, there is like once again, not an emergency, not a we gotta go, but there is just sort of a fire around you with all of the flames that have gone off, sort of just like little fires here and there, little trails of smoke. The smoking body of what was Birchtold. And yeah, you have Marguerite sort of laid out on her against her downed horse, sort of just struggling with her breath. What do you all do?
So what was that about the situation being dire? I feel like there was some sort of mild threat coming from you on the ground toward us, not on the ground, except my old friend, and he's fine. Can we go back to that? Because I wasn't clear on where the threat was.
She kind of smiles and spits some blood out of her mouth. She looks at you and she says, "You were able to just barely fight off one patrol of Talons in a city ruled by them."
You were able to just fight off us, and you're not dead because we said so. Hang on, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak for everyone. Consensus, we're not killing her right now because we're using her as some sort of bait chip. Are you okay? You look wounded, just generally toward Rogelio, but also giving everyone else a room to talk.
I say I've been worse, and I stroll up to Marguerite and Cupcake, just kind of smush it into her face. And that this will help soak up the blood.
Huanji, like standing next to her, has kind of like snapped his short swords back into a staff, and he looks down at her, kind of sadly, but just watches her.
Can we get it? I do like clean up some of the cupcake. I do that. It feels nice. Can we get a basic rundown of the whole situation from your perspective then? Since you're apparently in charge, and also, fair warning, I was not firing at full capacity. I was being nice. I'm so sorry, but
Marguerite looks at you, and she says, "You are all very strange people. But I believe you when you say that you are from somewhere else because you very clearly do not understand the laws of Falkovnia. We are the last remaining sparks of life in this realm that is besieged by the dead.
Show name.
Yes.
Bing, bow, bow.
What you have done today has simply sped up the process here in Legao. All of the dead walk, and they will find us, and they will end us all.
Isadora looks at Huanji and is like, is that your perspective on the situation as well, sir? Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. I want to make sure. Is it pronouns?
Wanji looks at you and he says, "Sir is fine, thank you."
Right. So, your perspective on this situation, same as hers, similar, kind of not the same?
It's similar, I suppose. I can give you something of a more concrete rundown. I assume that all of you are Rain's compatriots.
Yeah?
Have you seen Rain?
Good question.
I have not. The last I saw them, they were escaping the horde of undead, along with he gestures to Isadora. But how to go about this? If you are friends of Rain's, then I assume you must also be from Faerun. And you kind of you catch that, like, people don't say Faerun. They say the Sword Coast, the North, Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep. Mm-hmm. This would be like you wind up in a weird city you don't really know, and someone's like, "You're from Earth, aren't you?" Like, yeah.
I'm from the streets.
I'm not from the streets. And Huanji says, I don't really understand how the mists bring people to and from Falkovnia, but they've brought you here. And in this world, in Falkovnia, what dies will walk again. And when it does, it will seek to consume all life. He kind of looks up. The sun is still like, it's kind of like mid-afternoon. He looks up and he says, tonight will be hard. The dead tend to find more energy at night. But tomorrow night is the new moon. And on the new moon, all who have died in Falkovnia, some even from beyond, a seemingly limitless swarm of undead will lay siege to this city in an effort to consume all life. And he sort of just kind of like almost sadly like gestures around the city, and he says, Lecker is all that's left. of Falkovnia. And he kind of looking sadly down at Marguerite, and he says, and every life lost is one that cannot fight back. And worse is one that can rise again. And with a clinical, like, not messy, respectful strike, stabs his staff through Marguerite's head, just in and out.
I'm sorry. I thought we were just saying we're not going to kill folks because then they can come back. But then you did a little bit of a head stab there. What was
There are ways to make sure they don't come back, but for the most part.
Oh, okay, great. Is it stabbing people in the head?
Stabbing people in the head is one of them, yeah. As also, and he kind of like gestures over towards like the street, the like burned out street that the horde came through last session. He says, fire also works, which you lot seem very well poised to dish out.
Yeah, my friend told me about both of those things. I helped a fish earlier.
Your friend?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Over by the boathouse.
Over. He kind of like looks. There's still like a much thinner like white column of smoke. Like the Talons who went over there put out most of it.
She was dressed like for a wedding, all black.
And he, when you say that, he gets like kind of a look of recognition. He just kind of looks like a little sad, and he says, "Right, your friend. Okay, Ioana Petrescu. I'm assuming."
Yeah, you're right.
He nods. I'm glad that she's still helping deserters in her way. And he kind of like looks around and he says, we should get out of the river ward before nighttime.
Do you have a place we can like stay tonight, like safely here, near here?
He kind of shrugs and he says, well, not to sound as even more cryptic than I'm sure I already do, but there's not really anywhere safe in Falkovnia. But I have a place we can at least fortify for the night that'll be out of the eyes of Vladeska and her Talons.
Well, that sounds as good as we're going to get around here, so thank you.
He nods. He reaches down and very gingerly takes the leather like twist headband that Marguerite was wearing. It's now been cut in half, but he just sort of like gently takes it around, like gently lifts her head so that he can pull it around, and then like pockets it into the sleeve of his robe, and kind of gestures for you to follow him.
Is she a friend of yours, or you just pulling things off of dead folks?
He says, I suppose a little bit of both, really. It's a tradition of some sorts here in Falkovnia, the closest thing that we have to a tradition, a memento to remember the dead. But Marguerite and I knew each other for very long time.
Oh, you knew each other. And like she elbows Lotus. It's like, oh, they were friends. They were close friends. Lotus
Oh,
and I are close friends, if you know what I say.
we
You know,
are.
what I mean, okay, like I'm just saying, open to the idea. Wow, okay, well,
I mean,
this
we
is
can talk about it.
embarrassing.
We no. I'm like, I would love to. I just didn't know we. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen each other. I didn't know where the dynamics were.
Oh my God, honey, the dynamics are always open. Anyway, I understand what you're saying. Go ahead and take your little hairpiece there. Congratulations. I'm sorry for your loss.
um, uh, Huan Ji actually has like a very like gentle, like easy smile. Um, perhaps you think not so much because he isn't very amused by this, but more just like that's sort of his speed. Sorry, I just got the sorry random bug going on. Anyway, Lotus, and as you all walk kind of like south in the direction of the central ward, Huan Ji says, "You all should know that I've also traveled the mists a good deal. The people that we are inevitably going to have to deal with, the Talons and General Vladeska, they're not originally from Falkovnia. In fact, before they arrived, there was no Falkovnia. This place, this realm, was something else entirely until Vladeska and her band of the Falcon sacked the entire realm in a show of conquest. And he, as he is kind of like walking down the street, all of you around him, listening to him speak, he kind of proceeds down the street towards the central ward, leading you through some kind of like side streets and stuff, and he brings you to a like 3-story tall, kind of dilapidated building that is built up against a central fortification separating the river ward from the central ward. And he swings open a door, looks around, and sort of like gestures in, and he says, this will be our abode for the day. We can lay out a plan for what to do before nightfall tonight, and I can help you all get sort of your bearings. And as everyone sort of filters in, Huan Ji takes like one look around and closes the door behind him. And that's where we'll leave episode 2 of Besieged by the Dead. We got the title in. She said it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. For our wrap ups, I have been your DM, Ellis. You can find me on Twitter at Heckvetica, where I talk about TTRPGs and various nerdy, queer, ADHD related things. As always, you can find me here next Saturday, where we will continue our wonderful adventure. But I'll pass it off to the party, starting with Miguel. Go for it.
Okay, that's me. Hi, everyone. I've been Miguel. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miguel_Classico. It's really just dog pics and food that I cook. So if you're into that sort of thing, go for it. Occasionally some TTRPG stuff as well. You can find me here next Saturday as well as on the 23rd of Tuesday. 23rd of Tuesday? That's not right. Tuesday, the 23rd of November. Here on TTRPG, I'll be GMing a lovely game of Thirsty Sword Lesbians titled The Freehold Fiasco. So get excited for that.
Awesome. And Dare.
Hi. You can find me on the internet, Twitter and TikTok, NBDare. That is ENBYDARE. I just finished my stint with Transplanter RPG. So please check them out. Watch the 8-episode Hounds miniseries. It was delightful. If you like dice, like some nice physical boys, I'd recommend checking out my friends at Die Hard Dice using the promo code DARE for 15% off now because it's the holiday season. And later today, in a few hours, I will be over playing Masks at RF Chaos on Twitch because I like to be a disaster trans femme on things, not just in my real life. And also, if you got good turnip codes, throw them my way because I wait till the last minute. So that's it for me.
Oh, yeah. And Izzy.
Hello, I'm Izzy, she, they. You can find me on Twitter at Z_mist, mist with a Y, because I'm mysterious. Wait, that works because of how mysterious is spelled. See, God, so clever. Here on Saturdays for a little bit, some upcoming projects later in the year that I'll tweet about if I remember them. That's all from me. I'm gonna go find a burrito. Not find a burrito. I'm going to purchase one and eat it with my face. Thanks for coming.
Please don't eat found burritos. And please don't accept cupcakes from strangers. We're all having a good time here, everyone, but just...
Hi, I'm Izzy.
Awesome. And Nikki, take us away.
All right, and I am Nikki. I'm co-creator here at TRPG. You can catch me on Saturdays. On Fridays, we are wrapping up our Chew tabletop role-playing game campaign over the next 2 Fridays. And then on the last Sunday of the month, we will have our talk show where we have a couple of talk guests and a musical guest. This month we have Jude, aka Mermaid Royal, from known on Twitter and Twitch, and in the show Death to Divinity. So super pumped for that. And our other talk guest is also our musical guest, and that would be the Noir Enigma. So super excited to have them both on the show, and you should definitely tune in. And we are going to raid. Let's see if it'll let me do it. And see, because last time it didn't. Let's see if it'll let me this time. Yeah, it won't let me. Okay. Well, I tried. Have a great rest of your day, folks. And definitely tune in next time for we have a special guest coming. So that'll be really exciting. Right? Or is that happening the one after that? I don't know.
I think it's the one after.
They're always fun. All right. And